Roll call, please. Trustee Berg, present.
Commissioner Finito, present.
Trustee Curran, present.
I'd like to consider the approval of the minutes of Economic Development and Marketing Committee meeting held on October 23rd, 2018.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item number 3, discuss Economic Development Strategic Plan. And this will be Patrick Hoban presenting.
Thank you, Trustee Berg. Back in July, the ECC began the process to update our Economic Development Strategic Plan. The last Economic Development Strategic Plan we had in place was in 2013. This is one of the requirements in order to keep our accredited economic development organization status from the IEDC. I believe we're still the only accredited economic development organization in the state of Illinois. So this is one of the updates for that. And as we discussed before, economic development can be broken down into 3 goals. We can take care of the resources we have in town, we can take care of our businesses, and also work on new businesses. Each one of the 3 goals in the middle can be broken down into 4 separate tactics or objectives. From there, what we had is we went over the village's overall strategic plan and pulled out any item that related to economic development. We presented that to our ECC and then asked them if there was anything else they wanted to add or have economic development focus on. From there, we had them rank them. So this is a ranked order of the items that were economic development related inside the strategic plan and a couple more items. The number one thing that they wanted to do was update the legacy code. And if you go through the plan, there's actually metrics that are involved in how we're going to track everything as well. This one is basically just percentage complete. It's one of the items we want to review, and Paula and Kimberly that's underway right now. The next one is to continue to advance downtown development. There has been a lot of this going on with the South Street project, and hopefully more projects to come. This one is also going to be metric-wise. We're going to look at the overall projects that we have to deal with, the activity that follows that, so any kind of inquiries, and then overall percentage complete. And later on, when we look at the overall metrics, we want to make sure that the metrics actually line up with what the strategies are. The next one was one of the suggestions from the ECC, and that is just to tackle Harlem. I mean, the Harlem retail corridor is very bare right now, so we want to make that a priority moving forward to try to fill the vacant Kmart, the vacant Aldi, and Bricksmore across the street. Same thing, we're going to track the amount of projects that go into there, the activity that follows as well, and percentage complete, with the overall goal being to fill all the vacancies. After that, more on ongoing downtown development and reinvestment. Same thing, these are the tactic-wise is really about marketing the playbook grants for downtown to fill those vacancies. The first one that you saw in here, I believe number 2, was more about major projects. This is to fill the rest of the vacancies that are there. Number 5, the Develop North Street. This has to do with the plaza. This has to do with Central Middle School and seeing that project come to fruition. 6 is LaGrange Road. There's a lot of land on LaGrange that we've had a lot of different businesses interested in. It's lacking infrastructure, and it's also lacking the special reclassification area, which is a designation that we're working on, and hopefully we'll have ready to go in 5 to 6 weeks. Number 7 is the Mental Health Center. Everybody knows all about the Mental Health Center. After that, work to attract good-paying jobs. We're really targeting the corridor that runs along I-80. There's vacant land next to Panduit. We think this is our best bet for that. And also some of the Halikius land that's across the street from the Brookside Marketplace. And then redevelopment the Panduit TIF site. It's actually not the Panduit TIF, it's a legacy TIF, but this is all the land that's around the former Panduit headquarters that's being demolished right now. I'm trying to bring a project into there. Number 10 is to do a major development in Rich Township. Our last major development in Rich Township was 300,000 square foot Hillwood spec building. There's still plenty of vacant land heading south on I-80 to do another major development, and that's going to be the number 10 target for that. And then 11 is to conduct a village-wide business retention analysis. We did have a BRD person. Unfortunately, we lost her, but we have recently interviewed 5 candidates, and hopefully we'll have that job filled pretty soon to get this going again. And then number 12 has to do with looking at some of the unincorporated parcels around town and seeing if we can bring those into the village. Overall, these fall into different objectives for the goals. The breakdown when it comes to the strategy, there are 3 of them that line up in economic development or encourage development, 3 of them for selling Tinley. 2 for infrastructure, 1 for blighted. You can see going across the board. Goal-wise, though, it's interesting that 6 of them are all about attracting new business, 4 for the current resources, and then 2 for businesses. And when we map those out, you can see where the focus is. You can see 1, 2, 4, and 5. There's really a major focus on the downtown area, with the third one being up at the top. So downtown is definitely a priority for our ECC. The goal for this is to take it forward. Tell you what the next village board will be. I don't know if I have a board meeting on the 1st that this can go in front of, but basically have the committee recommend this for approval. Strategic plan checklist wise, we are seeking accreditation, long-term complex tier number 4, and so this will keep our accreditation, but it also provides direction whenever we're prioritizing our work economic development wise, and it will also increase our economic development reporting capabilities. The goal is to take the monthly report we have now that shows the different areas people are looking at and trying to line up the activity that will fall underneath each one of these goals.
Very good. Thank you,
Is it number
Patrick.
18 maybe? Okay.
And thanks to the mission for all their hard work on all these items. I agree with a lot of them. I like a lot.
Can I ask a question?
You can ask all the questions you want.
Thank you. On LaGrange Road,
Yes.
the infrastructure, what part of LaGrange Road is that?
This would be on the east side of the road. So pretty much from 183rd heading north. There's a big field out there. If you look right where, there's Texas Roadhouse and a couple hotels and it stops,
Right.
that's the cutoff of Will County. So we need to work on getting that special designated area there so we can work on the reclassifications, but also it's a complete green field right now. There's really no infrastructure out there. And we believe that we add the infrastructure and get the special designated areas in place, that will develop moving north because of its proximity to I-80. There's a lot of traffic there right now.
Yeah.
What are you looking for on Harlem and 159th over there? There's a lot of empty buildings just to improve the facade, or, I mean, what can we do?
There's a couple different ideas that have been floated out. It's one of them that we really need to do, though, is on the east side of the road. That's already in Bremen Township, so that qualifies for reclassifications. On the west side of the road does not, because that's in Orland Township. So like LaGrange, we want to get that area designated as well. That's one of the things that we have that we're working on to get both those areas reclassified so that we can do class 7s and lower the taxes in those in order to attract commercial development. Because anytime somebody looks at Kmart, they look at the holidays, they look at the tax bill, and they're just saying, comparatively to Will County, it's just not worth the investment. So it's I don't want to jump too far down the road looking at more restaurants, but I think it's going to go more restaurant entertainment based just because retail's so hard right now, especially the big box. Like finding a big box for Kmart's been tough. We have talked to a lot of people, but it's a tough sell. So I'm hoping that when we get the special designations on there, if we can bring in and say, hey, we can cut your taxes by this much by doing a class 7 for a certain amount of years, maybe that'll get them over the edge.
Thank you.
Very good. It's difficult in Cook County, that's for sure, Patrick. Appreciate all your work on that. I know the Kmart is very annoying to me for some reason.
It's a large parcel. I know. So yeah, we're looking for recommendation to go to board for approval.
Is it 12/18 or in January?
What do you think, 12/18? Is there going to be one? We get 12/18.
You know, some of the items were different than ours that we had filled out.
Yeah, I mean, as Patrick mentioned, a lot of them are items in the strategic plan, but since the original strategic plan was developed, some of the things like the GRANGE infrastructure are kind of some new items, but that's why we wanted to kind of go over this. But it's 80% of it is what's in the strategic plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was referring to the 191st Street corridor was on our checklist. Are we still considering that, or
Yes, that's one that's
did you say that, Patrick? I missed it.
number 8.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But that's good paying jobs around Panduit.
Yeah, that's my number 1.
Okay.
All right, item number 4, discuss marketing action plan, and that would be presented by Donald.
Yes, it is. Let's see, are we,
Yeah, they did.
are you opening it? Thank you, ma'am.
Oh. Are you guys going to make a recommendation? Got it.
I think they're looking to send it to the
they
board.
want
Send it to the board? Yeah.
Oh, you want a motion?
Yeah.
I'll
After
ma-
we see it, or what?
No,
No, for Patrick's.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to
Yeah.
take the economic
Okay.
development strategic plan from here to the December 4th board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that it? Thank you. Thank you. All right, ours is a little bit different. We've got an action plan, because as you know, we're in the throes of our branding plan. So within our marketing department, there's a nice shot of your wonderful marketing department. Our primary, deadline-oriented functions are the communications, the marketing, the maintaining our event schedule, and of course, the branding initiative. And then within the strategic plan, the primary initiatives that are affecting the marketing department, both short and long-term, are to develop and maintain a high-quality model citizen communication program, and to implement our village-wide branding initiative. So we took all of the information from both the marketing action plan, the branding action plan, from leadership within the organization, from our marketing and branding commission, and we put it into this 15-point action plan and identified then a timeline, who the lead would be, what the cost and measurement would be for each one of those. So I'd like to just briefly overview those for you. Items 1 and 2 are really our major initiatives coming up. Of course, first and foremost is Harmony Square. Of course, not just the building of the plaza, but the grand opening of the plaza and developing our extensive programming schedule that we want to have in there, as well as the ongoing maintenance of the plaza. And then the wayfinding, which, as you know, is in development right now, but we also plan to install signage over the next 2 years. Action plan items number 3, 4, and 5, we plan to initiate this spring, which correlate back to the branding plan items number 11, 13, and 18, which is basically to, you'll start seeing brand awareness posters going out throughout the community, our pole banners and signage, both at the convention center and at the amphitheater. And our next is number 4 is to evaluate the tourism marketing structure that we have right now with our Convention and Visitors Bureau. Just want to make sure that we are, fully evaluating that, getting all the support we need to maintain these initiatives, and getting the best ROI from our hotel motel taxes. And then the number 5 is to support our businesses and prepare for our plaza by some database development, GPS and application programming that it's called for within our branding plan. Item number 6 is something else that came up through our branding commission, which is the development of a musical chairs program. Bless you. And this would be a companion program to our benches on the avenue. The idea is to have an artistic chairs that our local artists are creating that would have be more portable, perhaps move between some of our key locations in town, maybe our businesses, and have an engagement component where people might hashtag or have some kind of photo opportunity where they take that and start utilizing our social media tools a little bit, really create some fun with it. So that's that plan. And then from there, we are looking this summer to do some, to create another companion piece to both our High Notes brochure and our dining guide, which would be a community profile and opportunities brochure. This is called for within our plan as well. Basically, what that would do is be a recruitment tool for both our businesses and our events. Number 8, would be a community pride campaign, which would be a structured PR opportunity to really feature and highlight all the great things that are going on in our community. And then number 9 calls for evaluation of some of the new resident engagement platforms. Obviously, with technology, new things are coming out all the time. You may have heard of things like Nextdoor. There's a couple other platforms that are out there, really evaluating whether or not it's worth the resources, and if we would have that engagement from our residents to put the energies into them. So we'd like to evaluate that. Item number 10 is the evaluating the visitor experience at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Of course, that's a big thing for our community since we are branding ourselves under music. I'm really excited to let you know that the manager of the amphitheater at our last branding commission meeting shared with us that the music theater has contracted with Kimley Horn and Associates to do an in-depth study of parking, signage, ingress and egress at the theater. And they'll be working, of course, closely with our police department as well. So that's something that we expect to have something, to bring back hopefully in the next, 6 months or so. Ideally in time for the next season. Item number 11 is to create a year-round music-centric destination. One of the ideas and something else that came through our commission was really leveraging all the neat acts that come into Tinley Park. We've had some really high-profile people that have been in our community. And if we could, think along the lines of what you see in some of the restaurants and hotels downtown where you've got, signed pictures, or think, mini, like, Man Chinese theater type thing, or we're doing something to preserve the fact that they've been here and make it kind of a destination that would maybe be in synchronization with our plaza downtown.
You think you'd get them to put their handprints on the...
Maybe that, if not, a signed picture. I
Yeah.
mean, as nice as we can be, we'd like to get them to do something. And
Tinley Park Walk of Fame.
Right?
That'd be good.
That'd be kind of a cool thing down in our downtown. And then number 11 calls for the, I just did that one. Number 12 calls for some concierge training that we would think cross-promotion of our hospitality-related businesses, where our hoteliers, our hospitality-related businesses like our restaurants and attractions would all be apprised of all the other things going on in Tinley. So we do some cross-sale, if you will, of things. When somebody comes here, they know what restaurants they might want to go visit, or what attractions are happening, or what hotels to stay in, that type of thing. Number 13 is the making a recommendation on our trolley transportation program. So we are looking at, ideally, on the heels of that study with the amphitheater, perhaps in the spring of 2020, potentially the purchase of a trolley and driver, so we can utilize that, perhaps moving people back and forth from our downtown, maybe having like an ale trail type after-hours event, or maybe using it to transport people back and forth from large shows. And then action plan item 14 calls for some synchronization with the grand opening of the plaza. So this would be a full-blown advertising PR campaign to tell our story. Obviously, the fact, not only just the grand opening of the plaza, but the redevelopment that's occurring in our downtown, so that people are aware of all the stuff that's going on. And from there, we would dovetail some travel writing, some video production, and that type of thing to kind of keep us relevant, keep the story out there. And then item number 15 came up through some of our hoteliers. And this is something that in the summer of 2020, we'd like to do an evaluation of perhaps leveraging the convention center during their slow season to create some kind of winter draw, ideally perhaps at the convention center. Think mini winter Wonderfest, where we create a reason where people would come and stay in our hotels overnight and have a reason to come and just, something to do in the winter slow period. January seems to be the slowest month for our hotels. So I know I've run through these quickly. We do have everything that we've identified for this coming budget year is either been planned for through the capital improvement plan request or the marketing budget. So I know I went very quickly. Does anybody have any questions, input, things you like, things you want to make sure we get?
I think you hit the high notes.
Sounds very good.
That was very good. Thanks to the Branding Commission and marketing also. Any questions, guys? I'm excited about the music theater egress. That's been a problem. That's like our number one thing. I really hate for that to be a problem.
Agreed.
All right, item number 5, receive comments from the public. Anyone like to address the board? Let the record reflect that there is no one here to address us.
Trustee Burke, could
Yeah.
you also make a recommendation to the board on the marketing action plan too?
Recommendation for,
To bring that to
what are you looking for, Dave?
to have the full board approve this at their next meeting.
Do you want it for December 4th?
December 18th, yeah.
excuse me? I just didn't know the January date, so sorry. When are we meeting January?
January, I think the first meeting is the 8th, right,
The
Laura?
holiday is
Was
the
that-
first.
Because there's a holiday on
Right.
the 1st. I think it's the 8th. Does that ring a bell, Laura?
No, 15th is your village board.
We're just doing one?
Yeah,
Oh, is it?
15th is village board.
15th, okay, all right,
Okay, so we should do this. I'd like to make a motion to recommend the marketing action plan to the board meeting for December 18th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. At this time, I'd like to adjourn the Economic Development and Marketing Committee meeting. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Who's next? Public Works?
Public Works, yeah, we got 5 minutes, so.
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the minutes of the special Public Works Committee meeting held on November 6, 2018. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Number 3, discuss purchase of LED street parking lot lighting replacement, Tinley Park Convention Center tax increment financing district. John, you want to talk about that?
Yes, sir, thank you. This request is from Public Works to utilize the existing TIF funding to purchase approximately 126 LED light heads in the areas as spelled out within the Millennium Lake subdivision, along Oak Park Avenue, Harlem Avenue, 183rd Street, and in the Convention Center parking lot that is owned by the Public Works, or I'm sorry, Village of Tinley Parks area, to the tune of $123,800. As with any of these other LED purchases we have made, we do have a return on investment with these purchases, and with the TIF funding expiring shortly here, we're looking to utilize remaining funds to purchase these and get these installed within that TIF district.
These would be the same lights that we've installed throughout town with where we could see if a street light's out?
Yes, sir.
Computers? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
On these new lights, how long do they last, new LEDs?
The reason we actually went with GE for these lights is because they offer a 10-year warranty on replacement for the materials. Beyond the 10-year warranty, they have a hour that is, I believe, 100,000 hour use of them, which is in comparison to the existing bulbs. My recollection was in the range of 10,000 hours of use for the remaining, or the previous bulbs that are out on the street, the high pressure sodiums or mercury
Wow.
vapor or any of those. So,
Quite a difference.
yes, sir.
There's no other questions. Make a motion to add this to the agenda this evening. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Receive comments from the public. Anyone wish to address the board in regards to the Public Works Committee meeting? The records show there's none. Motion to adjourn the Public Works Committee meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.